If you've been keeping up with this show, you will have heard about Sylvester Da Silva in the news. Now, he finally talks to journalist Carrie Saxon in a podcast he's very fond of calling The Da Silva Linings Ghost Book.
Hello and welcome to the final episode of the series, The Silver Linings Ghost Book. I'm Carrie Saxon and with me is Sylvester Da Silva. Hey Sylvester.
Hello Carrie, I can't believe it.
I know, we got it. We got to the
final
end.
Episode. I didn't think it was going to last this long. I thought literally second episode in and we'd be pulled off the podcast site, or you'd have enough or I'd have enough more than likely, and that would be it. But here we go, 6 episodes. What an achievement. Congratulations to you.
Oh, congrats to you, but we haven't actually got through the 6th episode yet. So
we've still got a long way to go. Still got a long way to go. The end is in sight, though. The end is in sight.
The end is in sight. And
I've prepared for this episode, Carrie.
Yeah, mentally prepared, or have you had a drink?
Mentally prepared, but sometimes, do you ever have a go song?
I don't have a go song. Do you have ghost songs?
That's a go song, not ghost song, but you can have a ghost song if you want.
No.
Yeah, you know what I mean by ghost song, don't you?
A ghost song? No, I know.
Yeah, ghost song. Like, you have a track, a bit of music that, really gets you all fired up and going.
Gotta Get Through This by Daniel Bedingfield.
That's a good one. Mine is probably Oh Fortuna.
Oh Fortuna, really?
Yeah. Or the Raiders March from Indiana Jones.
Of course.
I could have been on Indiana Jones, Carrie.
I think you could have, especially the 4th one. Yeah.
Oh, hey, let's leave it there. In fact, what? 4th one? I don't remember.
Yeah, let's not ever talk about the 4th one. Last week then, have you got over talking to your old friend foe, Katrina Woods?
My friend foe. Yeah, that's it. Now I think we've well and truly water under the bridge, but that's it.
That's done.
Done and dusted.
Yeah, because we've never actually played that Ghost Sleuthers theme, have we, on here either?
No, we haven't. Well, I thought there was some legal issue, was there?
Oh, God, no. Richard, because he's still here. Richard, can you play the theme for us? There you go. Does that bring back some happy memories?
Oh, goodness me. Isn't that true? Somebody went mad on GarageBand with that, didn't they?
It was kind of dull, but it was fitting. It was fitting for the time.
It was a little bit spooky. I suppose you had some kind of haunting voices in the background. Katrina loved it, though.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
It was her theme tune.
Because that is still the theme tune for Ghost Sleuthers, even on the YouTube series now.
Yeah. Goodness me. Get over it.
Yeah. But
anyway, Carrie, I've got some bad news.
Oh no, what's the matter?
I've not mentioned them in the past, and I don't think I ever will again. The Society for Psychical Research, you familiar with them?
A little bit. Tell me more about them.
Well, the SPR, or SPR, we in the trade refer to them as. So a bit of background for the people who don't know who they are. They were founded in 1882, proudly claimed to be the first scientific body to examine claims of paranormal and general spooky goings-on.
Right.
And I've had a bit of a turbulent relationship with that society. I really have. I've been an on and off member for goodness how many years. I've been kicked out and allowed to rejoin more times than Ken Livingstone and the Labour Party.
Lovely analogy.
I think the over 35s will get that joke.
Yeah.
Oh, you get the gist. You get the gist.
I got it.
But, to be fair, though, and I had a letter through this morning saying that, Sylvester, unfortunately, it's that time again for you to be ejected from the society. So
what did you do now?
I honestly don't know. I think this whole news business, I think perhaps they don't really like this podcast. They think I've brought the society into disrepute, which is ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. How could you?
how could I? Exactly.
It's not possible.
The thing that irks me the most, though, Carrie, is that, to be fair, the SPR, they're jolly good when it comes to research. And quite often I check out their website because they've got lists of the current research that's ongoing.
Right.
And they give out grants to people to go and study a particular topic. Usually it's in some quite nice locations around Europe.
Right. And Brexit hasn't put a stop to that yet, I take it.
No, I mean, if you can get yourself a good grant and get posted somewhere nice in Italy, I mean, particularly during the winter months, it's pretty good.
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah. So there we have it. Bit of bad news this morning.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Sylvester. Maybe this will cheer you up. I've had some correspondence from an old Ghost Sleuthers person. I think he was after your time.
Oh, I know who you're going to say.
It's Xander Devereaux.
Xander Devereaux. Now listen, Carrie, I'm not one to talk ill about my peers and my colleagues in the psychic medium realm, but honestly, what a dull character. And don't tell me that I've just got sour grapes because he's the one that ended up replacing me on Ghost Sleuthers. He's dull as ditch water. He really is.
Do you want to know what he had to say?
I think you're going to read it out anyway, Carrie, so you may as well get it over and done with.
The point of his correspondence, I believe, was to say maybe he could be a replacement for you in the second series. Oh,
goodness. He's at it again. His old tricks yet again. Well, that's not going to happen anyway, though, Carrie, is it? Because joke's on him. There's not going to be a second series.
Exactly. And what's he thinking? Plus, I could be talking to a different podcast, obviously. Someone's got to pay the bills, but
yeah, Carrie,
it's never going to be called that. It's the Silver Linings Ghost Book.
No, what are you going to call it? Devereaux? I'm not even going to waste the time thinking about a title for him. He can do that himself.
For those of you who don't know about Xander, we could play a little clip from Ghost Sleuthers for you.
Okay, Katrina, this is it. This is the spot. This is where Gilbert the Great was alleged to have died. In that very corner we are standing now. Yes, that's it. I'll try and commune with him. I just ask you stand there. Don't move. Not even an inch. I just need to get my breathing right. Give me a moment. Here we go. Gilbert, this is Xander Devereaux speaking. I'm sure you've heard of me. I just ask that if you're here, then you speak. You speak to us now, and we will listen. Speak.
Piss off.
Okay, I can feel him trying to get through. There's just too much negative energy in here, Katrina.
He just hasn't got your energy, has he? Sylvester?
What?
Sylvester?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Carrie. That clip sent me to sleep. I did catch wind. Yeah, energy. There is no energy there whatsoever. I did say dull as dishwater. He's the most unconvincing medium there is.
And you heard it here from Sylvester.
I mean, again, no disrespect.
No disrespect. We're grateful that you got in touch. Yeah.
Peace and love. All the best to him, but
no,
less said the better.
This week, Sylvester would like to talk about the Enfield haunting. So the facts about the Enfield haunting are, between 1977 and 79, a house on Green Street, Brimsdown, Enfield, was said to be haunted by a poltergeist who specifically centred on two of the four children that lived there. The two children, Margaret, aged 13, and Janet, aged 11, obviously in 77, claimed they could hear knocking sounds in the wall. Police were called and a constable apparently saw a chair wobble and slide, but couldn't determine the course of the movement. Moving on, apparently the kids were haunted, and the youngest one, I believe, was possessed by a ghost called Bill. Now, the hauntings only happened over an 18-month period and nothing was ever talked about it again since. So, Sylvester, you want to talk about it, and let's be clear, you didn't investigate this haunting because I don't even think you were alive at this time, so...
No, exactly right. A little before my time, only a little bit though. No, you're right. But I mean, Carrie, it's the big one as far as I'm concerned. It's still talked about, in conversation. It pops up in documentaries, this, that, and the other. from time to time, even to this day, and features quite prominently in big Hollywood films, as we see in The Conjuring and all that.
Yeah.
So it's the big one, as far as we're concerned. And I mentioned the SPR earlier today.
Yes.
We had a gentleman by the name of Maurice Gross, who was a member of the SPR, who went in there to investigate it. He was pretty convinced that it was all genuine and real, and there was more than one spirit, apparently, more than one.
More than one, was there?
Yeah, you had. You mentioned the two girls, and paranormal activity seemed to be centered on Janet.
Yes, the youngest
Janet.
girl.
Yep. And I mean, she said that you can watch it on YouTube. There's plenty of clips about it when they were interviewed by the BBC and all that. And I mean, I think quite tellingly, she says at one point when she's asked, is the house haunted? And she says, no, it's not haunted.
She did, yes. They both came out later on and said, we made stuff up to impress people. I don't know if they were the years impressed, but that's what I got from it. They wanted to give people a show.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is true. A rumor I heard was that the mum, Peggy, she didn't, because she's divorced, so single mother with all these kids in this house, and she didn't like the house. She was trying to move.
Exactly, and what a way to get publicity.
Yeah,
and just claim the house is haunted.
And just like any logical person, rather than claim that you're having issues with neighbours, crime, whatever, let's go straight for the big guns and say that the house is haunted.
No, you are surprising me, Sylvester.
Carrie, I have studied this subject in quite some serious detail. And like I did mention, apparently there was more than one spirit. I mean, the girls, they made reference to a fella called Stuart, another one called Fred. There was another one called Dirty Dick as well.
Really? Wow.
Exactly. I think less said about Dirty Dick, the better.
I think so.
I don't know what his story was, but I'm not sure if I want to know. So yeah, bit of a strange one. It's a big one. So what do you think, Carrie? Go on then. What do you think?
I think it's obvious that this haunting didn't happen. I've got no problem with the girls. They were children at the time. Children make stuff up. Don't blame them at all. If they were getting a bit of attention, they were getting famous. Got no problem with the children. I am, however, concerned that the adults in the story, like Maurice Gross and Guy Lyon Playfair, were playing into their hands a bit. I feel, I don't know, but I kind of feel that they might have been exploiting these children.
Well, okay, Carrie. Well,
what do you think?
What about, so they said that, you mentioned about the police officers. I'm not sure if this area of London is covered by the Met Police, in which case I'm not surprised if it were the Met Police that they couldn't come up with a logical explanation, but I digress. So there was the knocking, constant knocking, footsteps, and the voices. Now, apparently, Janet was the one being used a lot to project these otherworldly voices. And they did notice that when Janet was speaking, apparently with the voice of Bill, had the habit of just suddenly changing topics, which is a habit that Janet also had. And also, as well, during one of the interviews that Janet had as Bill, you can hear her say, apparently, the beginning of a joke.
Really?
Yeah, and in this gruff voice, she says, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Doctor Who.
Oh, no.
And it completely fell apart. And you look at the look on her face, she's like, oh, I've messed this up now. I'm just supposed to say doctor. We all know who else went there. The Warrens.
The Warrens, yeah.
And they turned up uninvited, didn't they? Yeah,
and if we were to believe the film, they were a major part of it. But I believe in real life that didn't have an awful lot to do with it.
No.
But surprisingly, or not surprisingly, they were convinced that the events had a supernatural explanation. Because they would, wouldn't they? Because that's how they made a living.
Yeah, I mean, I have said in the past that, the Warrens were genuine.
Yeah.
However,
yeah,
I'm not entirely convinced by the Enfield haunting.
Are you serious?
I'm being deadly serious. I'm not convinced.
Goodness. Are you saying that you don't believe there was a haunt in there?
No, I think there is a different explanation, and I do subscribe to a bit of a conspiracy theory, maybe, Carrie. I subscribe to the idea that perhaps maybe that they wanted a bit of attention and perhaps wanted to get out of the house. And so this entire story, this entire situation was fabricated, concocted. I don't know whose idea it was. I mean, you assume it would have been the mother, Peggy, and the girls obviously went along with it, whether willingly or under duress, what have you. And it was, I mean, they got plenty of media attention, didn't they?
Well, they did, and I think that's what happened. The more media attention they got, the more spooky things that seemed to take place in the house.
Yes, very. I mean, it was, I suppose, a bit spooky, but made all the headlines and all that. But a couple of inconsistencies.
Right.
And I have looked into this, Carrie. So this character, Bill, that
Yes.
Janet claimed was the most dominant of all these spirits knocking about in this house. In an interview she gave as Bill, said that he was 72 when he died. He went blind first and then died of a hemorrhage while sat in the chair in the corner of the living room. Well, this Bill character did live in this address, which is Green Street.
Yes.
He did live there.
He did live there, yes.
However, he died when he was 61.
Really?
And he had a stroke, not a hemorrhage. Big difference.
Oh, I didn't realise that. I can't believe we're on the same page with this, Sylvester.
Yeah.
Something very weird going on.
Yeah. And do you know how I know?
Oh, go on. How do you know?
Well, first and foremost, the facts about Bill and the fact that it was all a fabrication is because Bill has told me.
Oh, God. Of course he has. Yeah.
I have been in touch with Bill.
Oh, no.
And he has confirmed to me that the entire thing was a total lie. And if anything, those rotten girls, as he refers to them, set him up. And he's been made to look like an actual demon, if you've seen The Conjuring.
He was going so well. Tell me more what Bill said.
Well, I tell you what, Carrie, I'll do one better. I've actually got him on the old psychic line, ready to come through.
I don't believe you, but hey, let's just do this.
Well, we've talked about possessions in the past. I've not done it on the programme before because
it's not possible.
It's because, Carrie, I've not had anybody with anything important to say, but I think Bill's story is quite important. So we'll patch him through now. Bear with me, I just need to get prepared.
Oh, gosh.
Hello.
Hello, Bill.
Hello, who's that?
Carrie Saxon, speaking to Sylvester Da Silva.
Oh, yeah, I know this Sylvester. Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. Yeah.
I'm interviewing him as part of a podcast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he said I could borrow his old voice box. Tell my side of the story, innit?
Yeah, go for it. Knock yourself out.
Well, my name's Bill. Bill Watkins. I lived in Enfield back in the day. I understand a degree of time has gone past since then, and I've been made famous, or rather, I've been made a little infamous, you could say, because of some old motion pictures, some films that have been people have come up with in Hollywood, and they've portrayed me as something of a demon.
Yes.
Sylvester has said that he can act on my behalf to be a bit of a legal advocate and see if he can get some money my way.
Really? Okay.
What the real story is, I lived in Enfield, nice town, and I died in the early 60s. I had a stroke, and then in the 70s, this family moves in, and I still find myself in the house. Can't complain, lovely house. All of a sudden, I see this girl, Peggy, with her kids, and she says, "Oh, I hate this house, and I can't get out of it. I can't wait to go." And I hear her say that, "I'll tell you what, I'm going to make up some story about there's a ghost in the house." And the old girl, Janet, the daughter, starts making up some tall tales about me, that I'm this monster that keeps possessing her and keeps chucking her out of bed. Well, they didn't want me. I just want a quiet life. This family comes in, starts tearing things up. I think, I've had enough of this. And come 79, I'm out of the house, on to the old Tottenham Grand.
Well, that's a very interesting story, Bill. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, by the way, Kat, before I go, I've got a bit of a joke for you.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor Who.
Hey, we got it this time, didn't
Yay.
we? Well done. Do you want me to pass?
I really like Sylvester back.
God bless. Ta-da.
Bye. Sylvester, come back to me, Sylvester.
Oh, I'm already here, Carrie.
Oh, okay. I
perfected this possession business. I just allow them in, and then off they go, and then I can resume.
I'm literally speechless. For a moment there, Sylvester, I felt we were on the same page. We were going in the same way. You actually were agreeing with me that there was no haunting. And then you made me interview a man
Bill.
you were possessed by.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, this is the last week. Right. So the reason we were here all this time is finally come. I finally get to ask you about why you're in the news.
Oh, I don't fancy it now, Carrie, to be honest.
No, we're doing this now.
Oh, go on then.
We're doing this now. This goes back to April 2020. Britain is in complete lockdown, and you are in Virginia, USA. Then a piece of footage dating back maybe 10 years comes to light on YouTube. You did a filmed reading for someone who was anonymous, and you probably can't remember them anyway, so...
10 years ago, Carrie, of course I can't.
Exactly.
I can't remember what was happening 10 minutes ago.
That's right, exactly right. I think there's more to that, but we'll get to that later. And it somehow caught the attention of someone on Twitter, and it kind of broke the internet for a few days. In the reading, you predicted that 2020 would be a start of a new time in the world. Things were going to change. There was a start warning to the person having the reading to prepare for the worst. You said that we were told to stay in our houses, not to leave anything but food and medical supplies if necessary. Schools were closed, cinemas, theatres, restaurants were closed. Don't even see your loved ones was the warning, and as we all know, that turned out to be true. You even uttered the word corona. However, I've also watched the footage and you mentioned Budweiser as well.
And this I cannot deny, Carrie.
There's a couple of things to this. Conspiracy theorists suggested that the virus was out around then, or you wouldn't have known about it. So they're saying they knew 10 years ago that this was coming. I'm calling nonsense on that. But then you'd have to consider you were foretelling something. But I've watched the footage, and I think there's a phrase in there that everyone is missing. Go for the head. Sylvester, you said this was all about hats. I think this is what you've been alluding to for weeks about the hats. You know, go for the head. I believe you thought there was going to be a zombie apocalypse instead. Would you like to explain that further?
Hey, Carrie, I'm sorry to disappoint you. No zombie apocalypse. It was all a disease.
Right. Well, you say that, but the footage shows your eyes are red, blotchy. It seems to be around the time you were sacked and you went on a drunken retreat in your family's vineyards in Portugal.
Which I've mentioned, yes.
Yes. Sylvester, had you watched too much Dawn of the Dead?
No, you're right, Carrie. Back in the vineyard, drinking copious amounts of wine and just watching zombie film after zombie film.
And there's nothing wrong with a zombie film. I'm not criticising you at all. But obviously this started talking about prediction as if it was real.
Yes.
Which obviously you've said it was. So
how do you account for this then? How do you suppose that I came up with this? 10 years ago, might I add.
10 years ago.
No clue. I mean, what year were we then? 2010?
I say it was around
2010.
10 years ago. I don't have the exact date of the footage.
2010.
I think
that was a spooky year as well, wasn't it? Because you all know what happened in 2010.
But then just think you jumped to the next big moment in time, which would have been 2020. So that's how you got to the attention of a certain J.E. who wanted you to investigate.
Oh, goodness me. Yes, I thought that this was going to be the end of it, but no, I shouldn't have gotten involved in this whole situation. I really shouldn't have.
Because
but Carrie, you know, I got to be honest. As far as I'm concerned, any news is good news. You know, if it gets my name up there in the headlines on Twitter, whatever, if people are talking about old Da Silva, then I'm doing something right, aren't I? But yes, I think I could have picked a better scandal to get involved in. J.E. being, we'll use the name Joseph Extravagant.
Right.
A chap who is currently in prison, and he used to own a sanctuary which housed large felines.
Yes.
Did get me to go down to Florida back when I was spending some time in the USA to investigate this lady who we will refer to as Carolyn Buskin, to go down there because there was all this silly nonsense about her killing her husband and feeding him to tigers. And it makes logical sense, doesn't it? Get a psychic medium, get him down there and see if we can pick up on any emanations, any communications, what have you, with the dead husband, and see if we can confirm the theory once and for all.
But that's it. But then you refused to talk about it publicly until now. Then for weeks you've talked utter drivel about stuff I'm not sure you believe in or not. So, Sylvester, do you actually believe in ghosts?
Do I believe in ghosts? The important question is, Carrie, do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Because Sylvester Da Silva is back and he's here to stay. Forget about Ghost Truthers. I'm my own man now, and I've got my own business, which is about to take the world by storm. Richard, roll the clip, because I know how much you love adverts, Carrie. Here's your sponsor.
Is your home under siege from paranormal forces? Are you losing sleep because a pesky poltergeist keeps pottering in the pantry? Or are you keen to find out where Granny left her stash of priceless jewels? You need to call in an expert. You need to call in Sylvester Da Silva, psychic medium extraordinaire. No supernatural job too big or small. You name it, I'll sort it. Sylvester Da Silva Paranormal Services will aid you no matter what. I specialise in hauntings, demonology and mixology. For all your cocktail needs, I don't just specialise in those unholy spirits. Book your free consultation today. Plus, as a special offer, you'll receive a free bottle of Sylvester Da Silva's Miracle Tonic Water. Don't waste any more of your time. Get in touch today.
So that's it, is it? You've just come back. You're not going to tell me what happened. What was your thought process when you did the original reading? We're not talking
Carrie,
about that, are we?
The thing is, Carrie, sometimes you can't explain the paranormal. There are forces at work that we can't possibly understand. I, because of my more open mind than, say, someone like you, no disrespect, am able to comprehend a little bit. But there are things out there we don't understand, and who knows? It just came to me.
I will never understand.
How about this, Carrie? You and me pitch an idea to a TV production company, preferably Netflix. Go on, give us some money. And we start our own ghost hunting show. What do you say about that? We've done so well these last 6 episodes. We'll call it the Fantastic Sylvester Da Silva Show with Carrie Saxon.
Yeah, I'm going to get a pseudonym.
The amazing Sylvester Da Silva, joined by Carrie Saxon.
Yeah, I think we need to talk off air. It's time for this week's Q&A. I haven't picked the questions.
Last Q&A, Carrie.
The last Q&A.
For the time being.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, people still send me questions if you want. I can't guarantee I'll answer them.
Just via him, not via me, though. I was given the questions this week, so I'm in the dark as much as you are. So let's just carry on. I've got the email open. And question 1 is from a Dan L. You are amazing. Will you be touring again soon?
Oh, what a question. Absolutely. I mean, if there's an appetite for it, of course I will, obviously with precautions and all that, social distancing. I might start with a bit of an online tour. How about that?
Okay.
That's a good idea, actually, isn't it?
So,
how much do you reckon I could charge for, obviously, like, they're going to be sitting in their own seats, so I don't want to, take the mick, do I?
Well, you could charge literally pennies for that, couldn't you?
Food for thought. Like 10 quid? Oh, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, question 2 is from a Fred L. Big fan of your work. When can I get a reading?
Oh, anytime you like. Again, I mentioned it, with the social distancing measures, lockdown and all this, online readings are the way to go, I think. Much more convenient.
Okay. And question 3 is from SDS. This is the best podcast I've ever listened to. Thanks, Sylvester. Okay, thanks for Sylvester. Where can I get a signed autograph?
Oh, goodness me. Who is this person?
I think you've put the questions in yourself this week, haven't you?
SDS. Oh, no, that's not me. Can't possibly be me. Signed merchandise. Well, we'll put it on the website, won't we? You'll do that for me, won't you, Carrie?
Oh, yeah, I've got nothing better to do. It's fine.
Well, you can sign something as well. We'll come up with some compromise, because I'm not sure if you sign it, will it depreciate in value? Yeah. We'll have to work that out.
Okay. And that's the questions for this episode and indeed this series. Thank you, Sylvester.
No problem. Anytime, of course. I can't believe. What are we going to do with our time now? What are you going to be doing now, Carrie? Now that your the most successful podcast you've ever come up with has finally finished. What are you doing now?
Well,
back to writing in that old tatty magazine.
I have got a book deal starting in October.
Oh.
Yes.
What's that about?
I've got to be quiet about it.
Fraudulent psychic mediums.
No, it's got nothing to do with the supernatural.
Oh, well, you've lost me already. If it's not about the supernatural, I'm not interested.
Of course. And what about you? What are you doing now?
Oh, I've mentioned the renewed, re-energized business. That's going to be, it's always a good time, middle of September, end of September, before the Halloween rush. Really gets people's spirits up, in that sense. Get the interest going, and you just ride the wave then.
Well, that seems to be us for this series. Thank you, Sylvester, for joining me.
Thank you, Carrie, for having me.
Yeah, and it was lovely to finally get to the news and get nothing from you. But
well, what were you expecting?
Yeah, good point. Excellent point. Let's keep the enigma that is Sylvester Da Silva.
Precisely right.
Take care, Sylvester.
Goodbye, Carrie. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Mucho amor.
Ghost Book Podcast was devised and performed by John Parry and Jackie J. Sarah. It is a deliciously bright production. If you enjoyed this, please give us a 5-star review or donate via Buy Me a Coffee. All details, including full credits, can be found on the website ghostbookpodcast.com.